Okay.
Welcome to the KO Boxing Show. Haven't we got a massive show tonight? Hall of Fame referee, Joe Cortez, all the way from New York. Welcome to the KO Boxing Show, Joe.
Okay, buddy. Nice to be on your show today. I'm originally a New Yorker, but I live in Las Vegas now for the last 29 years, the boxing capital of the world.
It certainly is. Joe, let's go over your childhood because you were Puerto Rican descent, but you were born in the Bronx, in Harlem, in New York.
I was born in Spanish Harlem, in New York, in Manhattan. Yeah, I went to school in the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx for a while, but I was born and raised in Manhattan, in Spanish Harlem. And that's where I started boxing back in the early 60s, when I became Golden Glove champion at the age of 16. I was a Golden Glove champion, 6 occasions. I won the Spanish gloves, the Eastern Golden Glove championship, the National Golden Glove championship, the Open championship, the Novice championship. I was involved in many championship fights in the amateurs, and I had the honor. And still to this day, I got to pinch myself. I can't believe that I knocked out 2 guys the same night in Madison Square Garden during the Eastern Golden Glove championships. And from there, I went to the Nationals and won the Nationals as well, along with my brother Mike. So it's been a great career. Then I turned pro when I was 18 years of age, and I had, I think it was my 5th pro fight. I lost a decision in Madison Square Garden. My brother Mike won that night. I lost. I got discouraged, and I went into the U.S. Army. I was 18, and then when I came out, I continued my career, and I went undefeated. I have a total of 18-1 record as a professional. But I was a bantamweight, featherweight. I wasn't going nowhere in boxing back in that era. Featherweights, lightweight, they were going nowhere. So I decided to give it up. And then I was about 26 years of age. I gave it up for about 3.5 years. I moved to Puerto Rico to work in the hospitality business, the hotels. Then I had one more. I got the bug. I want to fight again, so I got into boxing in Puerto Rico. I won my last pro fight. I won again. That was in 1971. I fought a Dominican fighter in Puerto Rico, beat him. But then I said, you know what? I'm doing okay. The hotel industry, the family, they want me to fight no more. They said, Joe, you did it all, you know. So I gave it up. 8 years later, I come back as a referee.
Yeah, I know. And let's go over that. In 1977, you started to referee, and by the 80s, early 80s, you started being a major referee. And your catchphrase is, I'm fair but firm. Where did you get that from?
I was doing an interview like we're doing right now, and somebody asked me, Joe, what does it take to be a good referee? I said, well, you know, you got to be fair with the fighter, by the same token, you got to be firm with them. And when I watch the interview, it says, I'm fair, but I'm firm. I said, I think I like that, you know? I think I'm going to use that. I'm fair, but I'm firm. I kept practicing fair but firm, or firm but fair. I said, I'm not going to say, some people say, Joe, what did you say? I'm firm, but I'm fair. I said, I will do it my way. I'm fair, but I'm firm. And that's the way it is.
You've refereed.
I had a copyright on it.
Oh, great work. Joe, you refereed Oscar De La Hoya. You're up against Chavez. You've refereed, obviously, when George Foreman won the heavyweight titles, the oldest heavyweight of all time, up against Michael Moorer. What's it like being in a ring with magic moments like that, and you're the referee? You could feel the excitement in the fighters and the people around. Must have been a massive buzz for you.
You know, going into that ring, you got a massive crowd in the audience, and you know, millions of people are watching around the world, but you got to focus on what you're going to be doing that night. Sometimes it's just like amazing. You can't believe that you're doing these mega fights. My dream was to do 1 world title fight. I would have been happy just doing 1. And that first one came in 1982. It was Aaron Pryor against Miguel Montilla in Atlantic City. And to me, that was my dream. I said, wow, I finally got 1 after 5 years in the pros. And when I started amateur refereeing, I only did it for 6 months. The New York State Athletic Commission, Deputy Commissioner Frank Morris said, Joe, you know, call me up. I said, Joe, I want to talk to you in the office. I said, why do you want to talk to me for the professional commission? What for? I went up there. He said, Joe, you know, I was watching you last week. You refereed 2 championship fights in Madison Square Garden for the Golden Glove Championship. And the Golden Glove Championships back then, they had like 12, 13, 14, 15,000 fans watching the championship fight. Well, I was in there refereeing 2 championship fights, 6 months going into the amateurs. And they said, Joe, we saw you work and we like your style. You look more like a professional than an amateur. We want to bring you into the pros. I told Mr. Morris, I've only been doing this for 6 months. He said, Joe, I understand, but you have the talent. You know how to have good ring mechanics. You move around good. Your commands are good. And he said, you know, we're going to work with you with every show we have for the next year or so. We'll put you to work every card. And they were having like 1 or 2 shows a week back then in New York. And they gave me 4 rounders and 6 rounders, 4 rounders and 6 rounders for about a year and a half. A year and a half later, they gave me my first main event on national TV here in New York City. And I took it. And then next thing you know, like I said before, my dream was to do 1 world title fight. And when I retired, 2012, I retired with Saul Canelo Alvarez, who's presently the middleweight champion of the world, won the light heavyweight championship as well. And that was my last fight, September 2012. And people said, Joe, why are you retiring? I said, I did 35 years. I got inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame with Mike Tyson, whom I refereed 8 times, 8 occasions. And I got inducted with Julio Cesar Chavez, Sylvester Stallone, where I did the Rocky Balboa movie. I was a referee in the Rocky Balboa movie. So I said to myself, I did it all. I had 176 world championship fights when I retired. And Canelo Alvarez with Josecito Lopez, I said, you know, it's a big fight. There's 6 championship fights that year. I said, I did it all. Now let me pay it forward and help out other young referees that are coming up so I can get them on the right track. And I'm very pleased. I have no ego. I love helping people. I like to get people on the right track. And that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years. And now the Nevada State Athletic Commission asked me to join forces with them to help them out with the instant replay. So we're doing instant replay now. So if a fighter and the referee makes a call inside the ring, either a fighter got cut, he said, came from a punch. I said, no, I saw the replay here. It came from a headbutt. I can overturn his decision to make sure the right guy wins. And that's what I've been doing for the last year or so with the Athletic Commission. But I'm always out there trying to get involved with different projects in the community. Right now, as we talk, I'm helping out with the COVID-19. We have a company I'm involved with, and we're doing the testing. And the turnaround happens to be only 10 minutes. We get the results back in 10 minutes. It's like a pregnancy test,
Wow.
but it's read by a laboratory, and it's sent to the laboratory via the internet. They get it right back. It's a result. They read it from the lab. Akala Labs in San Diego, at the laboratory that are doing the testing, Akala Lab. You can check them out, akalalab.com. It's a very, very reputable company, and the people behind them own the company. They say, Joe, we want you to be part of our team. You've always involved in the community. You're doing a lot of things. We want you to be an advisor for our group. And I'm doing that now. So we just came out with it this week. You'll be hearing a lot about it on the news, about the 10-minute. It's a rapid test. And they put up a pop-up tent. They set up the tent, different locations. And we already have like over 600 locations. The tents are going up in the next week or 2. So that's going to be good here in the United States. And hopefully, this has all been approved already. So I'm not going to get involved with a group of people that are not credible. These people are very credible. They already have the Lakers on board already. And they have they call it the Lionsgate. Yeah. Already involved. They hit the History Channel. They're also involved. So they got good people involved with them already. And I understand that Mike Tyson is also one of the advisors, as far as the beat. He knows everybody knows him, like myself. So we're on board together to do this thing with the COVID-19 testing. It's a rapid test, 10-minute result. You get it 10 minutes. That's simple. With the that's what these are moving real quick. That's what people need. We want to open up the world and save lives. We want to just make sure we're doing the right thing to help out the people in the world. It's needed right now because it's really going from bad to worse. And we're going to try to stop it. The sooner the better.
No, awesome work, Joe. Also, you're involved in a movie with Eddie Murphy as well, not only the Rocky Balboa. What was it like working with Eddie?
Well, Eddie is a big fan of mine, just like I'm a big fan of his. He always used to come to the fights. He's come to the fights. He would always see me at the fight. He'd say, Joe, I'm doing a movie. I want you to be the referee. and that was called I Spy, and we filmed that up in Vancouver, and it was a great movie. It's a funny movie with Eddie Murphy, good guy to be with. We filmed for about 5 days. We got that clip done. I Spy, like I said, the Rocky Balboa movie. I was Sylvester one day. I was sitting at the fights. I was ready to go into the ring. I was waiting. I get a tap on the shoulder, ringside. I turn around. It was Sylvester Stallone with Sugar Ray Leonard. I said, Joe, I'm doing a movie. Rocky Balboa. I want you to be the referee. I said, okay, so I need your contact information. I said, when I get out the ring, I'll give you all the information. Next thing you know, I get a letter from MGM Studios sending me my script. And then we started to film the movie here in Vegas. And Sylvester Stallone asked me, Joe, I need some help. I want to make this movie look authentic. I said, I can help you with that. I got him 23 extras outside, real boxing people in the movie to make it look authentic. And it was a great experience for me working with Sylvester Stallone. We work anywhere from 10 to 15 hours a day till we got it just right. And it was an honor working with Sylvester, a good guy. We had a lot of fun, and it was just amazing. I just couldn't believe that. Here I am, a guy from Spanish Harlem, try to make it in life. I did the right things in life. I try to keep myself out of trouble, no gangs, no drugs. I kept myself clean. Boxing kept me on the right track.
Fair but firm.
Yes, sir.
Now, you also were the referee in practice for Conor McGregor before he fought Floyd Mayweather, just to get him used to the conditions of fighting as a professional boxer. What was it like being a referee for Conor McGregor?
It was a lot of fun. It's funny because, like I said before, I got to do the Rocky Balboa and I got to do the I Spy movie. Then I got a call from Antonio Banderas, Woody Harrelson did a movie called Play to the Bone. They had me to be the referee for the movie. I was. Then I got a call to do Wesley Snipes' Undisputed, a prison movie. I went to referee there. So, all these things came about. Then when I get a call after being retired for so many years from boxing, I get a call from McGregor's people, one of his managers, say, Joe, Conor McGregor is requesting you to be a trainer for his camp. They want you to train him on the rules on boxing. He's going to have his own trainer, but you're going to be there to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes like he does. There's rules in boxing that we don't permit, like happens in the MMA. There's things that do in MMA, you get disqualified in boxing. So I had to make sure that this fight will take place in 5 weeks. So I was with him, several days of the week, 3, 4, 5 days a week, depending on his schedule. And I always corrected him. One time I had to take points from him. I gave some warnings during the training. I'd be dressed as a referee in the ring when he's sparring, and I had to make sure that he did the right thing. And I yelled the commands, break, stop, low punches behind the head, anything. And when he didn't comply to my rules, I would stop the action. I took 2 points from him. I said, this is going to be, I take 2 points. I did it like it was going to happen in a real fight. And that's what I did. I had it for 5 weeks. And you know what? He didn't win, but he made a good run for it. He lasted 10 rounds, and nobody complained about getting their money back. It was a good fight. Very interesting, 10 rounds for his first pro fight. Not bad. So I took a lot of pride in helping him out and a lot of pride in him. I congratulate him for a job well done. And he was more exhausted than anything else, but he did a great job. And he made a cool $100 million US, and Mayweather made about $200 million. So it was not a bad paycheck for a beginner.
No side envelope for you, Joe. After helping him out, he could have given you a gift. Joe, let's go. I was going to say, let's go over an exhibition that's happening pretty soon. The man right behind you, Iron Mike Tyson. You refereed him 8 times. He's an iconic figure all around the world. He's been in movies. He's been in jail. He's done everything from to the bottom to the top, right, and things in life. He's fighting Roy Jones Jr., who's also been out to Australia. And it's an interesting matchup. I mean, Roy Jones is 51 and Mike's 54. They're both really well past what they were, but they're doing this exhibition. It's 8 rounds. How do you feel about it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. First thing is that they have to be conditioned. Second of all, they have to be checked out by doctors, make sure that their heart is good, make sure that the brain is okay. We don't want nobody getting hurt seriously here. It's supposed to be an exhibition. And to me, an exhibition means I'm not going to try to knock you out. I'm going to have a good exhibition, get the fans. It's a charity. They're going to do a charity. They're going to be donating some of their money into charity, which is a good thing. I'm for it 100%. But I sure don't want them taking unnecessary punishment. I want to make sure that these fighters, whoever's going to be the referee, they'll make sure they take control in the dressing room to address it. Where if your opponent, you see, you hit him, he's kind of hurt, don't try to knock him out, because we don't want that. We don't want a black eye for boxing. We want to maybe do it a second, third, fourth time with different opponents, but we don't want to make this into a war where we know that Mike Tyson can still punch. You saw him working out on the YouTube channel. He got good punching power, good speed. It looked like he's back in the early days of his career. And if he hits one of those guys with one of those punches, it could be a tragedy, and we don't want tragedy in boxing. So a referee is going to be in there, be taking full control and talk with them seriously and making sure they abide by the rules, but nobody to get hurt seriously.
Will you be the referee, Joe, just as a special occasion? Have they appointed a referee yet?
It's an exhibition. I'll be more than honored to help them, because I know Mike Tyson. I referee 8 of his fights. And I know Roy Jones. I never refereed Roy Jones Jr., but I know his style, and I know what he's capable of doing. I've watched him throughout his whole career. And I'm a referee like myself. I teach refereeing to referees all over the world. So I want to make sure that we follow the rules. I make sure I will take control if I'm chosen to be a referee for that. It's an exhibition, and I will be more than honored. Or whoever's going to be in there, I want to make sure they do the right job. I will be there that night, no matter what. The fight going to take place supposedly September 12th in Los Angeles. And one way or the other, I'm going to be there. I want to make sure that who's ever going to be the referee will do it for the best interest of both fighters and for the boxing fans, making sure that you guys can come back another day and do it again.
No, well said, Joe. Joe, during these COVID situations, obviously everyone's been doing different things during lockdown. What are your hobbies away from boxing?
My hobbies away from boxing, well, I stay very active in the community. I'm always doing things with the schools. I'm involved. I'm an alumni of the FBI. I'm not an FBI agent. I'm an alumni of the FBI. And we have programs where we go to different areas here in Las Vegas. The alumni is an alumni, and I'm a graduate of the class 2004, the inaugural class. And I like in helping out. So they give us different projects to be involved with in the community, just to keep things right. And hopefully that these young kids will follow as a role model. I try to also just show them how I grew up like them, how you can go the right way or you can go the wrong way. I can teach them how to go the right way by being involved with sports, not necessarily boxing or sports. And I want the parents to understand. We have parents there to come in with their children. I talk to them. I explain to them what can go right in their lives if they follow the right path. But, if they do the wrong thing, they can end up in prison. And we don't want that juvenile detention. And if they commit crimes, if they get a little older, it could be very, very dangerous for them. So we try to guide them. I try to guide them. I said, listen, I did it. I came from a single parent home, and me and my 3 brothers, there's 4 of us, and we all came out good. Most of it was involved some kind of a sports. My brother was as an artist, actor, and we did a lot of things that kept us busy, occupied, and kept us in school and kept trying to do the right things in life. And that's what I've been doing my whole life, and I continue to do that today.
2 more questions, Joe. The second last one. When Joe Cortez gets home, he's had a big day. You're at home now. What do? Do you crack open a bottle of wine and watch a movie? Do you listen to music? What's your favorite music? Do you have a drink?
I like Latin music. I like to dance to Latin music. I like rock music, the doo-wop, the oldies but goodies I love. And I don't drink. I don't smoke. But I like to do a lot of social media stuff. I like to get on my computer, go over things, go over different projects that I'm involved with, and always looking to see what areas I've needed most of it. I get calls like yourself. Out of the clear blue sky, I get a call. I did one this past Sunday for Colombia. I did one with Puerto Rico a couple of days before that. I did Mexico. They're writing a song about me in Mexico. They sent me a couple of samples. Joe, we've been following you for years, all your life. We want to do music about Joe Cortez, a referee. I'm fair, but I'm firm. I said, go ahead and do it. You know, so I had a lot of fun.
You refereed Jeff Fennick, didn't you?
Yeah, Fendrick, yes, I did. On 2 occasions, once in Melbourne and once here in Las Vegas as someone else the first time.
Yeah, what was that? Because that made a lot of noise back here. We couldn't believe that Jeff Fennick did not win that 4th world title.
Yeah,
How did you feel about it, Joe?
I believe it was a draw, right?
Yeah, it was a draw. But how did you feel, refereeing?
You know, a lot of fans felt that Jeff Fennick pulled it out, and me as a referee, you know, I'm so that was a very, very tough fight. It was like 110 degrees out there, outdoors at Caesar's Palace, and when it was all over, you know, I said to myself, you know, I wasn't judging, so I couldn't say, but watching the replay later on, I said, it looked like Jeff Fennick kind of pulled it out. You know, it was a good fight. Yeah, and Jeff Fennick, and that was a rematch, and I think Jeff Fennick got stopped, if I recall. He got stopped on the match. Yeah, but Jeff Fennick, what a nice guy, you know. And I love Jeff Fennick for simple reason. He's a good man. I know he was ill recently. He's okay now. But, you know, he trained Mike Tyson for his last fight, of which I was a referee. So when Jeff Fennick saw me in there as a referee for that, he was, oh, my God, he's absolutely you're the referee for this. And sure enough, when I had to stop the fight in the 6th round, it was under the instructions for Jeff Fennick. Jeff Fennick said, Joe, that's it, at the end of the 6th round, and I had to stop it. But I took Mike Tyson to the corner. Jeff Fennick saw me bringing him to the corner. He knew that I was very concerned. Jeff Fennick said, yeah, I said, Joe, he told Mike we're going to stop it. And Mike didn't protest, and I waved it off. You know, it was his last fight. And I refereed him at the beginning of his career. He came up to me when he was 13 years old and told me, Mr. Cortez, I'm a young fighter. I'm coming up in boxing in New York. I said, well, you do the right thing, my man. You do the right things in life, you could be champion one day. I tried to encourage him. And he did become one of the best champions of all times. Then I refereed him against several fights. Then I refereed him against James Quick-Tillis when he went the distance the first time. Yeah. And then that, I refereed him against Larry Holmes when he knocked out Larry Holmes. Then I refereed again when his last fight. They come and say, Joe, what's your referee's last fight? Make sure everything goes right, with nobody getting hurt. And I did the right thing, and I had to take 2 points from him for he intentionally headbutted his opponent. I said, Mike, I grabbed him by the wrist. I took him to the judges. 2 points, headbutt, 2 points, headbutt. And I said, Mike, you can't be doing that. Then at the end of the round is when I had to stop it. Mike was getting frustrated. You know, he was doing anything he can to stop the momentum of Kevin McBride, the Irish fighter, who was about 6'4", 6'5", big, tall. He had a lot of heart, and he came ready to slug it out with Mike Tyson. But he fought very well. But Mike Tyson was not in condition. He had no win after five rounds. I could see he had no legs. He was really basically finished. Not that he was hurt. He was just fatigued. He couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with it. Well, but I'm glad that he's back now, and he got to turn his life around. And 15 years later, here he's coming back again. Talking about 15 years later, how about I refereed George Foreman? Well, I refereed him 20 years later after he won the first world championship at the age of 45. I'm in that ring with him, and here we go, knocks out Michael Moore to become the oldest heavyweight champion in the world. After 20 years winning the first one, now winning the second one. So that was an honor for me to referee that fight as well.
Age is just a number, Joe. What can you remember about Melbourne? Australia. What did you try Vegemite? Did you go to the zoo? Did you see the koalas? What did you experience?
I went to one of the best steakhouses there. They had great steak in Melbourne. They had a nice wine cellar there, I recall.
How do you have your steak, Joe? Don't tell me you're a medium raw guy. Do you have it well done?
I like it well done.
So do I.
Let me tell you, I love Melbourne, but that's one of my favorite countries. When I went there, it was great. And I remember referee Jeff Fennick, I believe he stopped his opponent in the later rounds. And it was one of my favorite countries, but it's Australia. You know, it's really beautiful. Melbourne was really impressive. The people was so nice, so caring. It was just Australia and literally two of my favorite countries.
No, Joe, thank you for your time. You're a living legend of the sport, and it's so great we've brought you out to Australia here so the viewing audience can see you, and you've got the great Mike Tyson in the background as well. And it's been a pleasure interviewing you and getting all the insight and all the great stories of your life and career.
Well, it's an honor to talk with you. And the fans out there, I will tell you, I love you guys. I think that boxing is right now it's on the downside with the COVID, but I want to offer my condolences for all of those who have been passing because of COVID-19. And we just got to keep our guards up. And I say we have to protect ourselves at all times. When I tell the fighters, protect yourselves at all times, I'm telling the people, the fans out there watching, we protect yourselves at all times because we got to win this battle. We're all going to be champions at the end. We got to give it all we have. So keep your distance from everybody, but be caring and loving and pay it forward.
Joe, fair but firm. Thank you for your time, my friend. You take care, and we'll talk again very soon.
Thank you so much. My love to all. God bless.